Shade under trees, 12. Evergreen ground covers that don't compete for water. Hello, my fellow plant lovers, and welcome back to Earthly Delights, where soil meets soul, and where every corner of your home and garden can become a living sanctuary. If you're here, chances are you've faced that same frustrating problem so many gardeners know too well. Those bare, stubborn patches of ground beneath your trees, where grass simply refuses to grow. You water, you try, you plant again, yet the thirsty tree roots and heavy shade win every time. But what if I told you there's a way to transform those lifeless spots into lush, green carpets that stay vibrant all year long without stealing water from your beloved trees? Today, we're diving into the world of evergreen ground covers, 12 beautiful choices that thrive in the shade and quietly fill those empty spaces with texture, color, and life. This video is made for you, the busy gardener who wants beauty without endless upkeep, the indoor plant enthusiast dreaming of extending that greenery into your backyard, and the weekend warrior who just wants results that last. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll have a clear vision for turning frustration into beauty under every tree in your garden. And before we begin, if you love learning about plants and want more practical, soul-nourishing tips, don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights and join our growing community of gardeners. Part 1, the spreading classics. When it comes to covering the bare soil under trees, sometimes the old, trusted choices are the best place to start. These spreading classics are ground covers that have proven themselves in gardens for decades. Evergreen, shade-loving, and gentle on tree roots. They don't demand constant care, yet they steadily weave themselves into a lush, living carpet that thrives where grass gives up. Section 1, Pachysandra, Japanese spurge evergreen shade mat. If you've ever wished for a plant that could quietly do all the hard work for you under trees, Pachysandra is that faithful companion. With its glossy, deep green leaves, this evergreen spreads steadily but politely, forming a soft carpet that looks fresh in every season. Unlike grass that gasps for light and water, Pachysandra thrives in deep shade and actually prefers those quiet corners where other plants surrender. Its roots sit shallowly in the soil, meaning they won't fight your tree for precious moisture, yet they knit together so tightly that weeds find no chance to sneak in. Come spring, it surprises you with delicate white flower spikes, small but charming, adding just enough sparkle to catch the eye. For busy gardeners, it's a dream. Plant once and watch it steadily cover the ground without fuss. It's the kind of ground cover that makes you feel like your garden is taking care of itself, leaving you free to simply enjoy the evergreen beauty beneath your trees. 2. Vinca minor, periwinkle evergreen blooms beneath the shade. Vinca minor, more lovingly known as periwinkle, is one of those plants that feels almost magical when you see it thrive under dense tree canopies. Its trailing stems creep along the ground, weaving a thick evergreen carpet of glossy leaves that stays lush even through winter. But the real delight comes each spring, when the vines scatter themselves with starry, violet-blue flowers, as if someone sprinkled petals across the shade. These blooms bring sudden bursts of color to otherwise forgotten spaces, catching your eye and lifting your spirit. Periwinkle doesn't ask for pampering. It tolerates dry shade, poor soil, and even slopes where nothing else wants to grow. Its shallow rooting system means your tree's health remains untouched, while the periwinkle quietly takes care of covering bare earth and preventing erosion. For gardeners who dream of adding both greenery and a touch of seasonal charm without endless maintenance, Vinca minor is like a loyal friend, steady, beautiful, and always ready to brighten the darker corners of your garden. 3. Ajuga reptans, bugleweed, a carpet with color and character. Ajuga reptans, or bugleweed, is for gardeners who want more than just a patch of green. It's for those who crave drama and texture in the shade. Unlike plain ground covers, Ajuga offers foliage that can shift from deep green to bronzy purple, sometimes even streaked with hints of pink or chocolate, depending on the variety you choose. This evergreen plant hugs the soil closely, sending out runners that quickly create a dense mat under trees, yet never becoming greedy with water or nutrients. In spring, It stages a show with spikes of violet-blue flowers rising above the foliage like little flags of celebration, attracting pollinators even in the shadiest corners. Ajuga is a gift for gardeners who want an easy yet striking option. It suppresses weeds, thrives in spots where lawn grass dies, and adapts to both heavy shade and part sun edges. If you've ever wished your under-tree spaces could have personality instead of plain cover, Ajuga delivers a living tapestry that feels vibrant, resilient, and utterly unique. Part 2, the gentle green carpets. Not every under-tree space calls for bold colors or dramatic foliage. Sometimes what you really want is a soft, calming layer of green that feels like a woodland carpet. These gentle ground covers bring a sense of harmony and peace, blending naturally into shaded corners. They don't compete for water. They simply settle in quietly, creating a serene foundation of life beneath your trees. Or in Gallium odoratum, sweet woodruff fragrant forest floor. Sweet woodruff is like inviting a piece of enchanted woodland into your own garden. This delicate ground cover forms airy whirls of emerald green leaves that spread gracefully across the soil, creating a soft, inviting carpet beneath trees. Its charm deepens in spring when clusters of tiny white star-shaped flowers appear, releasing a subtle, sweet fragrance that lingers in the shade. Historically, gardeners prized it not only for beauty, but also for its scent. Dried sprigs were once tucked into linens for their perfume. Beyond its romantic qualities, sweet woodruff is remarkably practical. It thrives in deep shade, tolerates dry roots once established, and remains evergreen in many climates. Its shallow growth means it never competes with tree roots, instead weaving between them as if it belonged there all along. For viewers who long for a ground cover that feels timeless and magical, something that quietly transforms bare soil into a living forest floor, sweet woodruff delivers a sense of calm and natural grace with almost no effort at all. I'm Ophiopogon japonicus, mondo grass, the evergreen minimalist. Mondo grass is the plant you turn to when you want elegance without complication. At first glance, its slender, arching leaves resemble a delicate tuft of grass. But unlike lawn grass, it thrives in the difficult, dry shade beneath trees. Evergreen in nearly every climate, mondo grass stays neat and tidy through all seasons, creating low clumps that slowly spread into a graceful carpet. What makes it so appealing is its quiet strength. It doesn't demand much water, it doesn't choke the soil, and it never interferes with the life of your trees. Come late summer, you might even spot tiny lavender blooms tucked between the leaves, followed by small, shiny black berries that add a subtle surprise for anyone looking closely. For gardeners who appreciate a clean, minimalist look, or those who want order without constant pruning, mondo grass is an ideal choice. It's especially beloved by those who like their garden to feel calm, balanced, and effortlessly beautiful, with greenery that simply stays reliable year after year. 6. Liriope muscari, lily turf. Evergreen borders with a blooming bonus. Liriope muscari, often called lily turf, is one of those underappreciated gems that quietly does everything right. Its evergreen, grass-like leaves arch gracefully, forming neat clumps that hold their structure even through the cold months. Unlike lawn grass, lily turf thrives under tree canopies, tolerating dry shade and crowded roots with ease. But what sets it apart is its unexpected generosity. Come late summer, it sends up spikes of violet-purple flowers that look like little fireworks against the dark green foliage. Later, glossy blackberries extend the season of interest. Gardeners often use liriope as a border to frame shady paths or tree bases, but it's just as effective when allowed to fill larger spaces, weaving into a living tapestry. Its shallow roots mean your trees remain unbothered, while the ground beneath stays protected and beautiful. For busy or beginner gardeners, lily turf is practically indestructible, resilient, adaptable, and always dependable. It's the perfect blend of form, function, and surprise, turning overlooked shady patches into showcases of quiet charm. Part 3, the flowering companions. While evergreen leaves bring stability and year-round green, sometimes your garden heart longs for blossoms too. This next group of ground covers offers the best of both worlds. Foliage that stays lush in every season, plus bursts of flowers that brighten the shaded spaces beneath your trees. They add charm, color, and a sense of renewal where you least expect it. 7. Helleborus orientalis hellebores. The winter rose of the shade. Hellebores, often called Lenten roses, are a true gift for gardeners who crave color in the darkest months. While most plants retreat in winter, hellebores step forward, pushing up leathery evergreen leaves and elegant blooms that appear from late winter into early spring. Their nodding flowers, ranging from creamy whites and soft pinks to deep purples and even speckled varieties, create a quiet drama beneath your trees when everything else still sleeps. Beyond their beauty, hellebores are incredibly practical. Their roots are shallow and unthreatening. Leaving your trees undisturbed and once established, they tolerate dry shade with resilience. They even resist deer and rabbits, making them a reliable choice for many gardeners. For plant lovers who've struggled with bare soil and long, bleak winters, hellebores deliver both structure and hope, a promise that beauty endures even in the hardest seasons. They're not just ground covers, they're companions, whispering that life continues under the shelter of your trees, no matter how dark the days. 8. Bergenia cordifolia elephant's ears, bold leaves and seasonal charm. Bergenia, fondly called elephant's ears, is the kind of ground cover that makes a statement without saying a word. Its broad, leathery evergreen leaves create bold swaths of texture under trees, filling in bare spots with confidence and reliability. These glossy leaves hold strong through winter, often turning shades of bronze or deep red in the cold, adding unexpected color when most plants fade. Then, as spring awakens, Bergenia sends up tall stalks topped with clusters of bright pink or magenta flowers, like fireworks bursting from the earth. This mix of sturdy foliage and seasonal bloom makes it both practical and ornamental. Its shallow root system means your trees are never stressed, while its dense habit suppresses weeds and protects the soil. Bergenia is perfect for gardeners who love foliage drama, but still want the surprise of flowers. Under a shade tree, it feels like a living anchor, steady, tough, and always ready to add a touch of boldness to the quiet corners of your garden. 9. Epimedium, barrenwort, the delicate survivor of dry shade. Epimedium, often nicknamed barrenwort or bishop's hat, may look delicate at first glance, but don't be fooled. This is one of the toughest ground covers for dry shade. Its evergreen, heart-shaped leaves form gentle clumps that dance lightly in the breeze, turning bronze or red at the edges as the seasons shift. In spring, Epimedium unveils sprays of dainty flowers, yellow, pink, or white, dangling like tiny lanterns above the foliage. Despite its fragile appearance, this plant thrives where few others will, especially beneath mature trees that greedily drink up moisture. Its roots are shallow and non-invasive, slipping easily into dry, root-filled soils without competing for water. For gardeners who've tried and failed with countless plants under stubborn oaks or maples, Epimedium offers quiet victory. It's graceful yet resilient, ornamental yet dependable. In every way it teaches us that beauty and toughness can exist side by side, transforming those harsh, shaded patches into a tapestry of charm and endurance. Part 4, the tough survivor. Some spots under trees feel almost impossible. Dry soil, thick roots, heavy shade, and little attention from busy gardeners. Yet there are plants built for exactly these challenges. These evergreen ground covers don't just survive, they thrive with minimal care. Holding their beauty through every season, they are the quiet heroes, turning the hardest corners of your garden into places of strength and life. 10. Mahonia repens. Creeping Mahonia evergreen strength with his seasonal surprise. Creeping Mahonia is a ground cover that combines toughness with charm, perfect for those forgotten spaces beneath trees. Its holly-like evergreen leaves form a dense, low mat that holds steady through every season, shifting to bronzy red tones in winter for extra interest. In spring, clusters of bright yellow flowers appear, filling shady corners with unexpected cheer, and by summer, they give way to blue-black berries loved by birds. What makes Mahonia repens so special is its resilience. It thrives in poor, dry soils where other plants surrender, and it never competes aggressively with tree roots. Instead, it works quietly, covering the ground, suppressing weeds, and protecting the soil. For gardeners who want beauty that also supports wildlife, this plant is a treasure, It adds color, provides food for pollinators and birds, and keeps the ground beneath your trees alive. Creeping Mahonia proves that even the hardest spots can be transformed into vibrant, thriving layers of evergreen life. 11. Polystichum acrosticoides, Christmas fern evergreen grace for shaded corners. The Christmas fern is one of those timeless plants that feels like it belongs in every shaded garden. Its glossy, dark green fronds unfurl in tidy clumps, staying vibrant even in the middle of winter, hence its festive name. Unlike some ferns that wither back at the first frost, this one remains a steadfast presence, offering structure and life under bare-branched trees. It's easy to care for, settling happily into dry, root-filled soil without demanding extra water or fuss. Its shallow root system means your trees are left in peace, while the fern quietly fills gaps and suppresses weeds. Over time, the fronds create a soft, layered effect that looks as though nature itself designed your garden. For viewers who want that classic woodland feel, lush, calming, and endlessly reliable, the Christmas fern is a perfect match. It's not flashy, but its quiet strength transforms shaded spots into enduring havens of evergreen grace. 12. Heuchera, coral bells evergreen color for every season. Heuchera, more commonly known as coral bells, is a ground cover that proves shade doesn't have to mean dull. Unlike many under-tree plants that settle for simple green, Heuchera bursts with foliage in dazzling shades: deep purple, lime green, bronze, even silver vein patterns that look painted by hand. These evergreen rosettes hold their color all year, adding vibrancy to the darkest corners beneath trees. And when late spring arrives, tall, delicate stems rise above the foliage, carrying tiny bell-shaped flowers that attract hummingbirds and pollinators. Despite its beauty, Heuchera is practical too. Its shallow roots avoid competition with trees, and once established, it tolerates dry shade with surprising ease. For gardeners who love variety, countless cultivars mean you can design under-tree spaces like an artist's palette, mixing colors for a living mosaic. Heuchera isn't just a ground cover, it's a celebration of resilience and creativity, proof that even the toughest spots in your garden can glow with personality and year-round charm. Part 5. Design and care tips for under-tree success. Now that we've explored 12 evergreen ground covers that thrive beneath your trees, let's pause and talk about how to bring them together in a way that feels natural, lasting, and beautiful. Choosing the right plants is only half the journey. Arranging them thoughtfully and caring for them in those first crucial months makes all the difference. Imagine the base of your tree not as a problem spot, but as a blank canvas. Start by leaving a little breathing space around the trunk. Trees need that room for air and health. From there, layer your ground covers in ways that create movement and depth. You might combine the bold foliage of birchinia with the fine texture of sweet woodruff, or contrast the dark shine of pachysandra with the colorful leaves of Heuchera. Mixing textures and colors creates a natural woodland feel instead of a flat carpet. Mulching between new plants helps them settle in, keeping moisture steady and shielding the soil from weeds. In the first season, a little extra watering ensures strong roots, but once established, these ground covers are largely self-sufficient. Resist the urge to overcare. Their strength lies in their ability to thrive quietly with minimal attention. Think of this as building a partnership with your garden. You provide the start, and nature takes over, weaving these plants into a living tapestry. Soon, those dry, shaded patches that once felt hopeless will become some of the most enchanting spaces in your yard, a place where beauty thrives effortlessly under the shelter of your trees. Turning shade into beauty. And there you have it, 12 evergreen ground covers that prove even the most challenging spots beneath your trees can be transformed into living, breathing beauty. No longer do you need to stare at bare soil, struggling grass, or dry patches that drain your energy. Instead, you now have a palette of plants, some bold, some delicate, some flowering, and all evergreen, that can work in harmony with your trees rather than against them. Think of your garden as a story. The trees are your grand characters, tall and wise, while these ground covers are the supporting cast that makes the scene complete. Together, They create layers of texture, color, and life that shift gently through the seasons, yet never leave the stage bare. From the spreading classics like Pachysandra and Vinca, to the gentle carpets of sweet woodruff and mondo grass, to the flowering companions and the tough survivors, every plant brings its own gift to the shade. Now it's your turn. Walk into your garden, look at the space beneath your trees, and imagine what it could become. Which of these 12 plants speaks to you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments below which one you are excited to try first. And if you found inspiration here, don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights. Join our community of plant lovers who believe that every patch of soil, no matter how difficult, has the potential to flourish. Together, we'll keep learning, planting, and growing one green corner at a time.